Hey guys, thanks for joining me again on Probably Fixed It. Last time I left you, we did a paint on this thing and I threw these lights on just for looks. I went ahead and in today's video, what we're going to do, we're going to install this light kit. Now I did just kind of put them in just so we could get a good look at them, kind of see how the cart looked painted with lights because I was anxious. But in this video, we're going to actually wire up this light kit. It's a little light kit I got from Amazon. I'll leave a link down in the description, and that way you can take a look at that. Wasn't real expensive. It's an LED light kit. It's got a couple bells and whistles in it, not too much. I think it's around $160-ish in that ballpark anyhow. Let's take a look. So in this kit, one of the first things you'll notice, I went ahead and pulled this light off so you can see that the previous owner of this cart did a wonderful job. It looks like they chewed through there to get those out. And fortunately, when I put the lights back on, it covers all that up. So that should tell you right there, you don't have to be real critical on your cuts, but fear not. This kit comes with very nice templates that you can put in place. You get your driver's side, little templates you can put on in there. So it does have all that all ready for you, which will definitely make the things a little easier. And I would recommend using some sort of cutting tool instead of your teeth. So this is kind of how the front one looks on mine when I got it. You put the light on, it covers it up just fine. And the back one, I went ahead and pulled one of the back ones back out. Same thing. I don't know what in the heck they did with how they did it, but it looks beautiful. And I pulled that light out so you can see I already got one in there. You can see, excuse all the plants, it looks like Vietnam over here, but we had a good freeze down here in Texas, and our plants don't like being out in the cold, so they're all huddled up here and that's kind of how that front one panned out when I got it installed. So what I'll do, I'm gonna go ahead and get the wiring harness all pulled out and laid out here on the floor and give you all a look at it, and then we'll start going through the process of installing the kit. All right, let's see, straight out of the box. Oh, that's for something else, but we will need that. That's for my charger, a little charging port I got. That's separate. Looks like we got a cover for the steering column, horn. See the 4 lights, you got 2 in the front, 2 in the back. Nice pretty nice little turn indicator with it. Everything's terminated nice for you. It looks like plug and play. This here, I believe, is for if you have a gas motor. I won't need it, but I'll put it in a box just in case I'm wrong. And here is the whole wiring harness here. And it comes with the directions. So. They're pictures. And this is going to be your little brake light switch. It's basically just a pad that goes on the brake pedal. I'm going to leave some of the stuff in the box. And it comes with screws for your lights. These are your rear lights here. We'll go ahead and lay under this cart and see how I can lay this stuff out. And I'll probably just, after I get it kind of laid out a little bit, I'll bring y'all up underneath there with some light so y'all can see what I did. Got some light under here for you guys. So, let's see what you can see besides just me. While I'm thinking about it, I was routing this thing. Originally, I had routed it starting from the back, from the tail lights, and running it to the front. The problem I ran into was on the EZGO. This plug right here, you see that plug? It's pretty big, and it does not fit through here. It does not fit through there. Hope you can see that. Yeah, it doesn't fit through there. So what I ended up doing is I went to the front, and now I'm running everything frontwards in. Now, you want to run this one first because it's got this bigger block in it here, and then it's also got this in there, and this is not going to fit through as well. So you're going to separate that. And I'll put that back on later on. But you're gonna have to separate that so you can kind of work it through there a little bit. Blocking everything. Let me see here. Come over here. Sometimes you gotta just be a little bit. So here, you're gonna have to take this apart. Take this off. So you can run everything through here. Run that through there. Now we're going to keep going. I really hope you can see this, guys. Run this through there. And now we're going to run the tail light. These are here are for your tail lights. The red one goes to the right side. The white one goes to the left side. And also, one thing I did as well, that the first time I routed these, I routed them down the passenger side, and it won't work out that way either. So if you got an EZGO, I'm just kind of trying to save you a little bit of the trial and error that I went through. And once I get everything plugged in, I'm just going to run all this stuff through kind of loose for now. But once I get everything all plugged in, I will tidy everything up all nice. That goes pretty good. All right, so that was just something I wanted to show you guys real quick. And then I'm gonna route this up here. I'm gonna run these up the front. I'll get a view of that. And the same thing, this is going to go, the red I believe goes to your right. The white one's gonna go to your left. These are gonna be your headlights. And then we'll figure out where everything else goes in a minute. All right, guys. I got a little time to work on the wiring for the lights again. Didn't have much time the other day and it was still pretty cold out. So anyhow, we're gonna get in here, and I found out that, you know, I got some of the wire and I'm running it kind of just loosely underneath here, but you really can't see that well. And I'm gonna run this stuff up through here, but I just got this zip tied on for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pull this back so you get a better view of what's going on. And that way, if you want to run it yourself, you can kind of see how I routed it a little easier. And then I'll get back under there once everything's buttoned back up and kind of show you how it actually looks at the end. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some stuff to cut these off right here. I just had these little zip ties holding it in there. So I just pulled this down a little bit. And that way we can see how I'm gonna run these wires and stuff in there. All right, so this piece here, it just comes off like that. It's kind of a little bit more challenging than I just showed you. You kind of got to pull a little bit, but it'll come off. And it's gonna mount up here. And we'll figure out how it gets secured up here in a second. Kind of like you have the steering column cover. Hopefully that gets better, because that's doesn't seem ideal. We'll keep pressing on. That makes more sense. In the brake bag, there's actually these clamps right here to secure that thing on there. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. If you look here, there's see the clamps right there? They go right in there like that. Squeeze it to the steering column. Includes some fasteners as well. Get that screw I dropped because I got fingers that can't hold on to things. I have a sneaking suspicion though that this is not going to tighten up nearly as much as we'd like it to. Yeah, this isn't going to tighten down nearly enough. Show you how well it tightened up. Not great at all. So we got, see how. So I need to go do some thinking, I guess. May have to put something around there, around the base of this shaft here to make it a little bit bigger. That's what she said. We need to come up with quite a bit of space to pick up there. So let me see if I can come up with something, and I'll get back to you guys, and I'll show you what I came up with in case y'all have the same issue. You all install this. We're gonna go ahead and take this back off. See how I found the correct stuff in another packet in here. Let me just undo what I did. This stuff is, oh yeah, didn't stick up that great. All right. The right way to do this is use these foam pads that came with it. We're going to take this foam pad here and put it on the inside. On that one. On the inside of the other one. You could probably put them right here, but I want to be able to adjust this thing, so I'm putting them actually on the hardware itself. That way, if I want to slide it down a little bit, I still have that option. And then on this piece here, I'm gonna put one here and one here. At the end of the video, if I remember, we'll have some takeaways of kind of like lessons learned the hard way that hopefully y'all won't have to relearn. That's nice and snug. So this wire here, all these wires are gonna run down here. I gotta take this, I'm gonna remove this thing, slide the wires through there if I can, and see if I can find a way to get these to the back of the cart. So we'll get started doing that. I'm gonna get a drill and drill that rivet out. There is no way all this is going to get through. I think what I might do is go ahead and cut this here so I can lay this down in there, and then I got to drill a hole somewhere down here. Yep, you drill me a hole down here so that wire will go through. Let's get on that. Kind of hate cutting it. That out, take that off. I'll clean this up. Find me a hole saw or something big enough to fit all that stuff through there. All right, so I took this off, left this here. I slid this all the way back up, and this hits on that little thing. So I'm gonna cut it off a little bit of this right here, give myself a little room so I can fit right there. And I'm gonna try to figure out some way to get that cover back on if I can. If not, it's always good to have a friend that has a 3D printer, and she's making a lot of stuff for me for this little build. So I told her to get an Etsy store, so we'll see. Made a little mark on here right there. You can see it. It's kind of where that hits right there. We'll go cut that off with the grinder real quick. So we got that cut. That fits much nicer. All right, now the problem we have is this still needs to figure out a way to go through here, right? You got that big old connectors. This one here has to go down here to connect to this one here on the underside. So we gotta get this one through. This is just your light controller. It doesn't need to go underneath there. So I may see if I can get it up underneath here, like inside here, but kind of out of the way. The way they built the harness, so they make it kind of difficult to do that. This right here is just your hazard lights, and I've already got a hole right here for something, so I'm gonna try to just run it through that hole for right now. That's the plan. Find me a hole saw thing that's big enough for that. I just want to get it just big enough. So it looks like I found one. There's a metal plate back here. Back behind here, where this thing's all mounted to, there's a metal plate that goes to right about here. So I think, honestly, I'm gonna take advantage of this hole here. I'm gonna go up real high, as high as I can go, kind of try to hide it as much as possible. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm an idiot, but that's okay. Moron. There we go. Not ideal. Now I can put everything through there. Ha! I got a plate or something to make cover that. What are the off chances of this going back on? Probably slim to none. Okay, while we're down here, see, get you down here a little bit better. We'll adjust this brake pedal. This is the brake switch. We're gonna go ahead and get it mounted. I'm gonna cover that ugly hole that was already there. And then this just gets down and back through here. So we'll go ahead and get these screws in here. They're still little self-tappers. We'll get those going. Acts as the switch for everything. Kind of straighten that up a little bit. And you get the idea. All right, so I went ahead and ran that wire from the brake down there. Found a place to zip tie it right there. Ran it through that hole back there. And right now it's just hanging right here. Now on your harness, your main harness, this right here, these wires here are the ones that are going to connect to that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and get this tidied up here and hook to that, and then that brake switch will be hooked up and we'll have one thing done. Then the harness that I ran from the turn signal index box, I ran it through here. The little box it had, I found two holes up here and I ran ahead and hit a zip tie there. That's for like a little control box. And this right here is going to have to plug into this right here that we pulled through that hole I made. So that's going to plug in there. So we're going to get that brake hooked up, get this hooked up, and I ran the hazard light switch up through here and found a spot to pull it through. So right now it is just sitting in this little cubby. I was hoping I was going to be able to put it back to this hole right here that exists already, but I don't have the room. So I'm going to have to put something right here. I'm going to make a new panel for this in the future, so that these might get moved, but just for the time being, that's kind of where we're going to be. Okay. All right, so I got that all hooked up. I got some wire ties, still got the tabs on them. I'm going to cut all those back once I'm sure I want them. Kind of routed everything nice and clean up here. Routed that through there, and then this big bundle that ends up going to your, see if it goes to your, going to go to each headlight. I ran it up through here, and there's your package tray where your cup holders are. But back behind it, there's a gap right there where you can run it through. And then I got the the white tab going this way, because the best that I can tell is white goes to the captain side and red goes to the drinker side, or to the right. So now I can put my panel back on and kind of test fit this up and see how it looks. Okay, so can you see this or not? Let's see here, back you up. Yeah. So for the horn, I'm just putting it where I have an existing hole, and if you're lucky, you might have a bolt laying around that fits. I don't have any that fit that hole, but I do have this magic drill bit, so I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger. See if this fits in there. Fits like a champ. Actually, I think what I'll do, I'll run this like this. Keep it up there like that, maybe. We'll see. Go ahead and tighten these up real quick. Get that nice and tight. Because one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this thing, just so it's not hanging down like that, I'm going to bend it up kind of out of the way and run these two wires that I have left over. It's going to be the purple and the black one. Get those good plugged in. And there we go, we should be good. It's nice and snug. All my wires are running pretty good. I got to tidy up all this stuff still, which I'm gonna go do right now. I'm gonna go ahead and zip tie this front end back in. Actually, I'm not. I want to try something. While I'm in here, my buzzer is so loud. I'm gonna see if I can put something kind of over that buzzer and make it a little quieter. Let me see what I got. I have a little bit of this beetle tape that we used to reseal the RV. I'm just gonna put it under the ports for the speaker on the backup sensor and see if that kind of tones it down a bit. Hopefully that tones it down a little bit at least. Now I'm going to zip tie my front end on and hook all my lights up. Or actually they're all hooked up. I just need to plug the front ones in. I'm not quite ready to commit to riveting this thing back down because, you know, I keep coming up with different little things I want to do. Believe it or not, taking off this cowling makes life a lot easier. So if you're just building one and you need a way to put that on real quick, you can just run zip ties through your windscreen holder here. And that'll do it. Kind of hold you in place while you're still debating everything you're doing. All right, let me bring you around here and show you how we're going to hook up. Use up the power. Basically, the black's going to go to my battery negative, the red's going to go to battery positive, and these should work straight to the 48 volt battery. They should be good for 12 volts or 48 volts. And since I don't have a 12 volt system in here yet, or even a kick down, a drop down for accessories yet, I'm going to go straight to the battery. But first, let's get in here and hook these up. Oh, you didn't see none of that. Sorry. All right, so we just went ahead and took my light, hooked that one up to there, and this right here is going to be for the LEDs. Let's see, can you see that back here? This right here is going to be for the LEDs. Hook those together. I'm going to repeat that on the other side. Repeat that on the other side. Can you see that? Little LED connection. There we go, everything got up there. That was good. I'm gonna do something better about this too. I don't think I like that. You know, I got lucky. There's a wrench I had laying there, 1/2 inch. And I got the battery turned off, just so you know. I should have made my life easy doing putting that in there like that. But I think everything's all hooked up. When night comes, we'll get a better look at everything. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead and power this sucker back on. Oh, I hear blinking. Oh, it's my hazard lights are on. See, I got both hazard lights. Look at that. around the front. Horn works. Turn these hazards off. Just got my hazards just kind of sitting in here for right now. I'll probably figure out a way to mount them permanently. The lights came on. I got lights. All right, well, I'm gonna clean up my mess, and hell, I may throw the seat back on there, and we'll see how she looks this evening. All right, guys, thanks for joining me for another episode of Probably Fixed It. I wanted to wait till it got a little dark outside so we can see these lights on. They look pretty good, in my opinion. Got a little blue LED down there. Let's go ahead and check these. We'll hit the hazard lights. Got the hazards. Looks like we got a good tail lights. Anyway, thanks again. Thanks again for joining. And next episode, I think we'll end up doing a rear seat install. So we got that in just the other day. All right, guys. Thank you, and please like and subscribe.